How you doing? Hey, are we free or what? Thank you. Thank you. Praise God. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We are free. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Praise God. Thank you. I appreciate it. Usually, folks, when I come out and introduce them, people rush the stage and my security guards to come out and I head for the back exit. I love you. Thank you for your warm response. I really appreciate it. God bless this organization. You are my heroes, and I'm going to tell you why, folks. Because you love freedom and you hate slavery. Freedom. Freedom, folks, freedom will not protect you. You must protect freedom. It is yours. It has been earned by someone else normally, and it's something that you must nurture and protect. I want to first thank Dexter Yeager, my long-lost brother, for allowing me to get on this stage to stand before you. Folks, it takes a lot of courage to put me on stage because you never know what I'm going to say, except it's going to be the truth. The truth, right between the lies. I was in St. Louis, Missouri yesterday, and I was able to speak at what used to be the Kill Auditorium. It was on Clark Avenue in St. Louis, Missouri. The Kill Auditorium was about 8 blocks from where I grew up. It was 8 blocks and about a world away. I grew up in a neighborhood where everyone thought they were poor. They called themselves poor. They called themselves disadvantaged. They called themselves at risk. They had a dilemma, folks. They thought of themselves as being less capable than someone else. I did not think of myself that way. I never thought I was poor. I just thought I had not found my money yet. I assumed that my money was someplace. I had to keep looking for it, and every time I turned over a rock and it wasn't there, I kept looking for another rock. It didn't matter, folks. You know, there is a difference in America now between those who think free and those who think like a slave. Now, when I went into the military, I joined the military the same day Dr. King was murdered, April the 4th, 1968. I was a very confused young man. I didn't know what kind of America I was joining to volunteer. I didn't understand what kind of country I was going to fight for and maybe die for. I joined the Navy. I went to Vietnam to get out of St. Louis, Missouri. Well, I figured, you know, it wasn't very much difference. It was just as hot. And at least in Vietnam, we got to shoot back. You know, so I was a young man who really didn't understand all this racial turmoil going on in the country in the 60s because, see, I grew up in a small town called DeSoto, Missouri. We call it DeSoto, Missouri. And we were so far in the country that I had to pump in daylight, so we didn't get a whole lot of news of what's going on in the country. And I went to the military to serve my country and be a patriot and go ahead and defend my nation. And I ran across this thought pattern that somehow, even though I was an American, I thought until I found out I had a hyphenation behind my name. I didn't know that. Even though I was an American, that there were some disadvantages that I had to endure in America. I was not to be expected to achieve any economic goals within this country. I was not to be expected to compete with a certain class of people. And it used to worry me and bother me because I assumed that everything in my reach was also within my grasp, and everything that I could see, I could behold, and everything I could dream, I could obtain. That's just the way I was raised. I'm sorry, I just didn't understand anything else. So there was a notion, folks, that I, as a man, based on the color of my skin, on the income of my parents, was limited in this country. Folks, that's only limited thinking. I went to Berkeley when I got out the military, and what happened in the service, as the introduction kind of alluded to, someone dropped 1.5 tons of steel on me. I'm not going to go into the story. I'm not going to tell you what happened. I'm not going to tell you the detail of the event, but let me say that this person hated me. He did it on purpose. He did it with one intent in mind. He was trying to take my life. And if you ever had a Volkswagen fall on you, It kind of ruins your weekend. It takes away your desire to go out dancing and partying, and it gives you a whole lot of time to just stop and think. As a matter of fact, you will spend a whole lot of time laying flat on your back, contemplating your navel that you can't even see anymore. When this happened to me, I became very angry. I was frustrated because in one instance, this young 21-year-old, strong, athletic, educated, highly trained man became totally helpless. I could not feed myself. I could not breathe deeply. I could not move my feet. I could not do almost anything. Spent the whole 2 weeks on my back, on my elbows to keep the pressure from my back. And I was, by the world standards, pretty much helpless. They gave me a slight chance to recover. They lied. They had the Navy declared me to be disabled, permanently disabled, permanently unable, permanently not able to do what they had originally thought I could do, which means earn a living. And they allowed me to go home with a very good pension, and they promised to take care of me all the rest of my life if I would just sit still and let them do that. However, if I wanted to get up and go to college and actually get a degree and retrain myself to do something other than manual labor, which was what I was trained to do in the first place, if I wanted to use my brain instead of my back, which I could not use any longer, the Navy thought I was a threat and threatened to cut off my disability. And the government Social Security program and disability programs decided that I may be a threat and threatened to take away my disability. I had a choice, real simple choice, folks. Was I going to remain on a government welfare program or get up and learn how to earn income for myself? Simple choice. And I'm telling this story because I hear people, I have a booth out there. I'm selling books and I'm selling autographs. I'm beating on you guys. And sometimes, every once in a while, I'm out there selling books. And some of you come up and tell me why you can't do it. You tell me that, your mother was a crackhead. My mother cracked heads too. If she thought you did something wrong. We have all these reasons why we can't make it. My father didn't make enough money. I lived on the wrong side of the track. And whine. And they have us so afraid. Folks, we are afraid of success. Every day, I'm going to Berkeley, and I'm paying my own way because the military is now winding down my income because I had a choice to make, and I made the choice called freedom. And I'm paying my way to college. It's freedom, folks. And I'm paying my way to college, and they keep telling me this notion. I'm hearing this concept. I understand, folks, I went to UC Berkeley in the early 70s. That means I am a recovering liberal. Yes. I have a 12-step program. It's called Making Money Every Month. It's a day-by-day thing. And what happens, people ask me, how did I become a staunch, far-right, closed-minded, narrow-minded Christian conservative with an attitude from some left, God-hating Berkeley liberal? It was simple. It's called a job. Got a job, folks. It's amazing what a job will do for you. You get this income, and you start thinking about the money you're going to spend, the money you're going to have available to you. You get your first paycheck, and you open it up, and you say, who is this guy named FICA? Why is he robbing me of my money? I work for this money. I earn this money. It's my money. And you really begin to realize something, folks. It's not your money because it's not your job. It belongs to the master, and you're picking this cotton for him. His fields, his cotton, his income. And you're working for someone else. And I got real tired real quick working for someone else. And I began to look for a way out. And I began to search. At the same time, folks, I want you to understand, every social input, every newspaper, every political, economic, social group, every friend, every associate, every professor kept telling me that my notion of being economically free was insane, unattainable, impossible to reach, an impossible dream. Mason, you can't ever hope to be without an income, without a boss, without a slave master over you. Mason, you can't do this. I kept hearing them say, folks, they kept saying, a professor, if I give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. If you teach a man to fish, if I teach you to fish, you eat for a lifetime. I thought that was odd. First off, I didn't trust a grown man whispering to me. If I just give you a fish, this lewd left professors, they love for themselves. And I began to just think, and I raised my hand in class. And I said, Professor, are you saying that you have all the fish and all the knowledge, and unless you give me or teach me, I'm going to starve? You're saying that out of the goodness of your heart, you're going to take time from your busy schedule just to help Mason along because I'm too stupid to fish. I cannot do it. And at the same time, folks, I'm hearing the words of my father, the wisest man I've ever known in my life. I'm hearing the words of my father, who had a below high school education, who now owns 3 homes, who has 7 sons with 14 college degrees on the wall. I hear a man in my voice, in my mind, who is saying to me, who has 6 sons with their own business, saying to me that only a fool will starve in the land of plenty. So I tell the professor, I said, Professor, I have a new saying for you. It's called a Masonism, the first Masonism, folks. I said, let's just open the gate onto the lake, and I would need nothing else to feed myself. I can fish pretty well, folks. Let's just stop depending upon master to educate us on how to be free. Folks, if master is the problem, he cannot be the solution. Why would you send your children, unless you have to, why would you purposely send your children to this gang prep indoctrination center called public schools if you don't have to? All he's going to do is train your children to work for his children. Folks, UC Berkeley, this last survey, came out the #1 school in the nation for general education. Berkeley does not teach you to be free. It teaches you to get the best job on the plantation. This group teaches you to be free. So my professors kept saying, but Mason, because I was a hard liberal, I was hard left, folks. They kept saying, liberals, we're for the poor, and conservatives are for the rich. And of course, that was supposed to be negative. And I'm thinking, as I pay my way through college, because I did not get a scholarship, I could not play basketball, folks. I could not sing and dance, folks. I had to pay every quarter my tuition. And I'm thinking, let me see, liberals are for the poor and conservatives are for the rich. Which one do I want to be when I grow up? I have tried poverty. It doesn't fit my lifestyle. It's okay if it fits your lifestyle. It's okay. There is no dishonor in being poor. But see, I'm married to the world's most beautiful woman, and she's also the world's most high maintenance woman. And she requires a few things from me. Her dreams have a way of becoming my goals. And although she assures me that she married me for better or for worse, and richer or poor, she does require an annual audit. So I'm interested. I'm hearing this proclamation that liberals are for the poor and conservatives are for the rich. So I began to study the concept, and I'll tell you what I found. And I don't care if you're liberal or conservative. I'm going to tell you what I found. I don't care if you like it or don't like it. I'm going to tell you what I found. You see, what I found, folks, as a good Berkeley liberal, running with the Black Panthers on 24th and Telegraph Avenue, studying black history and political science, speaking Swahili fluently, what I found was that liberals were not for the poor, liberals were for poverty. I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. Because we have a liberal culture in this country that has paraded themselves, masqueraded themselves as moderate, as thoughtful, as neutral, and you better be able to recognize what they are doing in this culture, because they are the enemy of capitalism if you are a capitalist. They're the enemy of progress if you want to make progress. And what I found, folks, liberals, my liberal friends, the people I work for, Ron Dellums, Pete Stark, George Miller, Alan Cranston, people I work for, campaign for, what I found out, what I realized, They are very good at managing poverty, very good at making you comfortable in your poverty, very good. If you're hungry, they're very good at giving you government cheese. If you want low-income housing, they're good at that. If you want minimum wage instead of maximum wage, they're your guy. But if you want to be free, folks, liberals understand, if you put poor people together, I will challenge every one of the 14,000 folks here tonight. If you put poor people together in one community, I don't care what you call it, ghetto, trailer park, Indian reservation, I don't care. You put poor folks together in one community, I will guarantee you 100% of the time, you're going to increase poverty, increase drug use, teen pregnancy, low self-esteem, bad education, but also you will increase liberal voters. Therefore, as the political science student who understood politics, I began to realize that if you were a liberal politician, you did not want your community to ever get prosperous. You will never see in the history of our country a liberal community ever voting for conservatives. The more liberal they are, the more they're going to vote for their slave master. And I noticed that at Berkeley I became embarrassed because I was helping to promote a system of self-induced poverty. And I changed my way of thinking and my philosophy, and I came up with a philosophy, folks, that I reflect in my book, It's Okay to Leave the Plantation. It's a simple philosophy. It's a simple philosophy. Either you are a prisoner or you are a slave. And what that means is real simple. If you believe that your best hope in life is to please master, if you believe that every problem you have requires master solution, if you think that every problem facing America today requires a government solution, you are a slave looking for someone to take care of you. If you believe that most solutions require the gumption and the hard work of individuals and what you earn should be yours, then you're just a prisoner looking for an escape and a way out. Now in this business, folks, you all go out to this little thing called house meetings, open meetings, and you hear the plan. You see someone draw the circles, and you see yourself in the circle. You understand how easy, folks, this is easy to do. You heard Einstein? Easy to do. And so you see yourself in the dream. You understand this will get you to economic freedom. And what do? You get excited. You rush home and you talk to your mother and your father, your husband, your wife, your loved ones. You go to work and talk to old Joe that sits next to you in the cubicle for the last 10 years, complaining about having no money. You know, and Joe looks at you like you are insane. His eyes glaze over. He wonders what happened to his buddy. He thinks you're crazy. He's afraid. The mother's afraid for you because you're gonna leave your job one day. You're gonna actually get rid of your boss one day. How can you? You're gonna actually be free one day. You're going to see, folks. Slaves are told to be afraid of freedom. That freedom is negative. Freedom is frightening. You will die out there in the woods. Who's going to take care of you? You get your food from my bowl, Master says. If you leave, you don't have a bowl. He will never tell you about, folks, Master will never tell you about freedom. He will not tell you that freedom is yours. Don't expect him to. You will not hear about freedom on CNN. I'm sorry. You will not read in the paper that 14,000 freedom-loving, economically free folks met in Charlotte this weekend. You won't read it here, folks. Master controls the air cover, so the slaves are told to be afraid of the concept. Watch out for those Yankees. Don't listen to them. You're going to die. So that when you come back to these folks and say, I have found a way to get free, they think you hate them. Because freedom to them is death. Master said, you will not survive trying to make it without me. And then one of you guys go out and try to make it, and you begin to make that income on your own, and you go back and you tell folks, guess what? Master is lying to you. Guess what? I have been to freedom. I have seen freedom. It exists. It is real. I have been there. I know the way there. I'm coming back to take you. Let's go. Are you tired of being broke? Are you tired of being broke? Tired of being broke? Folks, being broke is a mindset, not a pocket set. It's a mindset. You're tired of being broke? Stop being broke in your actions. Stop doing broke things and act like you know what a freedom is, because you got on this stage every 5 minutes somebody walking across that knows the way to freedom, and the slaves will not take it. But a prisoner, if you lock a man up in a prison, you do not have to tell him he's in prison. He understands that over that wall is freedom, over that wall is economic freedom. He understands he will try 10 times to start a business, will fail 10 times in that business attempt, and will laugh at you as he begins to start number 11 and you criticize him. He will not give up. He will not stop. Folks, slaves remind me of a herd of sheep. A herd of sheep. You know, sheep does not herd themselves together because they love each other. They don't herd together because they appreciate the sheepdog. Sheep do not follow the sheep herder because they respect him or they're tolerant of him. Sheep herd together, folks, because they are afraid. They're fearful. They're scared of the wolf. And most sheep has never seen a wolf. They've been told about the wolf from the sheep herder who wants to herd them together. Watch out for those wolves now. Don't be top of those quick store people. You don't want to go to that open meeting, folks. You watch out for success. You don't want to have your own savings. And they are afraid, because when you are afraid, when you are frightened, Master knows that when you are frightened, you will give up freedom for safety. You'd rather be safe than be free. Folks, you will be neither. You will not be safe or free. You know, the sheep herder has you so afraid of the wolf, but I have a question for you. Who kills more sheep? The wolf or the sheep herder? I mean, the wolf may take a few sheep, but the sheep herder looks at you like lamb chops, a rack of lamb. The sheep herder is herding you together not because he loves you, folks, because he wants to eat you. He wants to consume you and your children. He doesn't love you. He's breeding you for his own use. The sheep herder has nothing but disrespect for you, but will always lead you to the green pasture and tell you when to eat and when not to eat. He will lead you here to the other pasture and tell you when to eat and when not to eat. And one day he will say, go over here. And you'll say, okay, the sheep said go over here. And you go and you look at the little sign that says, what's this called? Slaughterhouse. And you go in. He has you working every day. Every time you use your money, he taxes you. Every business idea you have, he regulates. Every time you try to educate your child, he communicates to you your inability to do so. He has you so tired up you can't even think about making any money. And then you come up together and you find a prisoner who has been trying for 20 years to dig through that concrete wall with a spoon. He's free. If you throw a rope to a slave, he thinks you're going to lynch him. He believes you're going to tie him up in a knot and kill him. But if you throw a rope to a prisoner, it's a way of escape. He will tie knots in it. He will thank you for it. He will praise you for it. He will go back and tell his friends. He will go and tell everyone the way to freedom is available. Let's go. He will tie knots in it, and then you'll go out. But if you are a prisoner and you got your rope and you go out and you bring in slaves to try to free those slaves, they will put grease on your rope. They will work against you. They don't want you to be free. They're afraid if you're free, master will punish them. And they will not allow you or your business to grow because their job is to destroy every concept of freedom. You must understand. I'm going to tell you how you can tell the difference. If you cannot wait for this thing to be over so you can get back on that freeway Monday morning, if you cannot wait to see your boss, if you hope that he may actually give you the raise you earned last year, if you believe that somehow he has your best interest at heart, that he will take care of you even in your old age, he promised you prescription drugs, he will put your Social Security in a lockbox just for you, if you believe that, You are a slave. But if you're the kind of guy that I saw from my hotel room, when you let out here at 4:30, supposed to be 4 o'clock, you know, Dexter time, 4:30. I saw from my hotel room all the prisoners because they got out at 4:30 and walked out this Coliseum and got back in line to wait to get back in here again. Didn't have time to eat. The man said, I eat when I go diamond. Didn't have time to sleep. Talking about sleep was overrated. I have knowledge to get here. If you're the kind of guy that will be up at 9 in the line and be at a night out at 1 o'clock in the morning, you've just been looking for a way out of that prison. So what do? You hear the plans, you understand what's going on, and master is telling you it's wrong, it's not true, it's unobtainable, you can't make it. Now, see, folks, in case anybody's noticed, I know you guys are colorblind in the Jaeger organization, but I happen to be black. I know you haven't noticed that. Yeah, I'm black. I've been black most of my life. Now, we changed every 20 years. I was an African American for a while before I realized that if I moved to Africa, they would not call me an African American African. Let me see, if I had children in Africa and moved back to America, would they be called an African American African American? I don't know. I don't know. I had this concept, folks, of, I could not fill out my census form because they didn't have my nationality listed. It's called American. Wasn't there. But at Berkeley, I studied African history. I studied political science, and I had this idea about the slave system. And in my book, I want you to know, I really clearly point out that the slave system was never about black and white. And the slave system still exists today in America, and most of us are participating in it as slaves. And it's the same system that enslaved black folks because we were easier, and now it enslaves everyone else because master will continue to change. And I began to study that system, folks, and understand something about that system. The slave master controlled the news, the air cover. He controlled what the slaves thought, what they thought was their culture, what they thought was their desires and goals. He controlled every aspect of their life, and he placed in their heart a fear of success. And the slaves sat there and said, well, we can't make it without master, but I'm going to please master, and I'll become the manager of his 40 acres. And the slaves kept saying, but this thing called freedom. And up north, they were telling the northern people, those slaves like being slaves. They dance, they sing. Look at them, they're having a good time. Don't worry about that freedom stuff. They enjoy it. We take care of them. It's good for them. And the slaves were told, if you try to escape, you're going to die. But then one got away. One escaped and made his way north and told the people to the north, you know what? We're dying. We can't do it without you. You think you live in a free country, but you can't be free unless all of us are free. Now, we got to do something about this. Can't happen. So the people of the north that were already free, economically free folks, set up safe houses for the slaves to gain information and knowledge and strength and courage. And they sent back to their own plantations those escaped slaves. They both gave up something valuable. The abolitionists gave up their money, their wealth, their income. The slaves gave up their lives to go back to free other people. And the reason they went back to their own plantation is because when you knock on that door at night and you open that door up and there was your mother that master said died in the woods. There was your brother that master said couldn't survive without him. And they're standing there saying to you, master is lying to you about freedom. That ABC, NBC is lying to you. That Jackson and BET is not telling you the truth. That you can be free. I have been to freedom. I know where it is. I'm here to get you. Come on, let's go. If you want to leave, let's go. I know the way. I know the opportunities available. If you get lost, I'm going to find you. And you know the person You know this person has grown up in your home. You know they're telling you the truth. They've come back to get you. They're saying, if you leave with me, I will not lose you. I will not abandon you. You will go all the way. If you follow me, I will take you all the way to freedom. All the way to freedom. If you get lost, we're going to find you. If you stumble with it, we'll pick you up. Get confused, we're going to train you. If I get lost, I got someone else called an upline to go with you. And they went out, and the reason they were so successful that they did not, folks, take slaves to freedom. They didn't. They took prisoners to freedom. Give you an example. Harriet Tubman, she went 27 times back to her own plantation. 27 times with a bounty, dead or alive. $40,000, dead or alive. Kill her, we'll pay you. Folks, she went 27 times back to her own personal plantation to free her family, to free her friends, to free her relatives, to free anyone who wanted to have freedom. 27 times, never lost one slave, never turned in by anyone, because she had only one requirement. Only if you want to be free, only follow me. If you don't want freedom, don't leave with me. If you're worried about master, don't leave with me. If you're concerned about your leader, don't leave with me. If you're tired of being broke, let's go. If you're tired of being whipped on, let's go. If you're tired of folks taking the wealth of your labor and keeping it for themselves, let's go. If you're tired of being a prisoner, let's go. She never lost a single slave, folks, because she did it the same way you're doing it. You are my heroes because you are the new Underground Railroad. And instead of safe houses, you call them house meetings. You're going out every night, sitting down at the kitchen table, telling folks about freedom. You're sitting down with husband and wife, little kids playing around at the kitchen table, and you tell them, you can be free. You can be free. And those kitchen tables, without master's permission, without his knowledge, and not caring about if he likes it or not, you're spreading the gospel of economic freedom to America. And master doesn't like it. That's just too bad. Just too bad. Because you have the same spirit of the 1860s, the same spirit that has never left this country. It's a simple, simple idea. No one will be free unless all of us are free. All of us must be free, and you're going to fight every day. You won't give up. You're telling your relatives, I know Master said you can't make it. I know he said you can't do it. I have been to freedom. You know me, Mom. You know me, Dad. He's lying to you. I'm not lucky. I just know the way. Every day. Folks, my hero, my long-lost brother, Dexter Yeager, you know, Dexter is unique. Here's the situation, folks. In case you've been invited here for the first time, I want to explain to you how very, very blessed someone has done to you. Because you've been introduced to a whole new, completely mind concept. The world loves you only when you got something for them. They love you only when it's convenient. It's called filial love. They will help you as long as you can help them. Now Dexter, anybody admit that Dexter has a few dollars by now? Probably could buy a couple of things he wanted to. You can take away from Dexter all of his money, influence, his cars, his homes. You can put Dexter in an environment where no one knows who he is, take away his jewelry, even a Dexter bracelet. You can take away Dexter's friends and associates and put him somewhere where he doesn't know anyone, dead broke. And in a very short period of time, Dexter will be walking on the stage again. Hi, y'all. Hi, y'all. In a very short period of time. The reason is real simple, folks. You can take away all he has, But it won't matter because Dexter knows the pathway from slavery to freedom. He knows the pathway. It doesn't matter what happens to him. He understands the pathway. Folks, you have a man here that has downlines, that he has taught the pathway, and they're willing to come to you and show you every step of the way to freedom. How simple can this be? How simple can it be? But the problem is, we're sitting here terrified out of fear because Master says, watch out for those doggone Yankees, especially one named Dexter Yeager. Watch out, he's gonna get you, he's gonna get you. So we're so afraid we don't even move, we're paralyzed, folks. So I'm here to tell you something. I found out something when I was a young man, and there's maybe, I've been looking since the 60s for a way over this rope, over this wall. I've been looking for a way around this obstacle. And what I found was very simple. The way to freedom is real clear. But the way to freedom takes action. It takes you to get up and do a couple of things in order to be free. If you are a prisoner, all you're looking for is an avenue and a venue out. If you are a prisoner, all you're looking for is the way out. In this organization, you have to go out and find other prisoners. Simple, not slaves, but prisoners. And what I've developed is this concept of freedom, where you're thinking like a free person, and you're only going to be around folks who want you to be free because, folks, I don't want to be around my enemies. I don't care who they are. I have relatives that want to borrow money from me. I don't mind lending money, but I have a criteria. I won't lend you money if you're taking my money and buying from my competitors. That makes sense to you? I mean, if I'm in this business and I'm selling soap and detergent, and you want to borrow $200 from me and you're going to go down and buy Colgate, go ask Colgate to give you some money. You see, why would I go to Safeway and Kroger's and have them give you a loan? I'm sorry, I can't help you. I cannot give you money to buy from my competitors. This is war, folks. We're in a war for America now. You have to change your way of thinking, change your friends, perhaps change your relatives. I don't know. But you got to understand some things, folks. I had 2,800 pounds of steel fall on me, and everyone said that I was hopeless and useless. And they're dead broke now, and I got a little bit of dollars in my pocket. I don't understand this. The concept that you can't do something, this is America. My father said, as I said before, only a fool will starve in the land of plenty. The opportunities are available to all of us, but we don't seem to believe the abolitionists and the freedom fighters. We rather believe the slave master. And that's because it's sort of like a soldier in World War II in Japan fighting in the islands, and he gets all of his news about the war from Tokyo Rose. You have a little different concept of the war. Folks, Tokyo Rose is lying to you. We are winning this war. As a matter of fact, we're overwhelming master. He doesn't understand what's hit him. He doesn't understand because what's happening is that you guys, you're literally unstoppable. The power you have because you're going out from door to door, house to house, small meetings, explaining freedom to each other and encouraging each other. It's allowing people to have a concept of themselves they've never had before. So when people look at me and say, Mason, you can't do it, you know, we have two ways of looking at a problem, folks. Really simple. Two ways to look at a problem. Why can't I, or when will I? Which one are you looking at? Why can't I, or when will I? Freedom is like a baby. You keep hearing someone say, don't forget where you came from. Then why leave? Why leave? Don't forget where you came from. What they're saying is, don't forget, you're just a slave. Folks, a baby. Anybody got young children out here? Young babies? I want you to think about something. These child's growing up. A child walks because everyone around him is walking. The child doesn't desire to be a better crawler. It doesn't want to crawl faster than the people with you. It wants to walk because you are walking. It wants to have it wants freedom. Independent. It wants to be carried in its arms. It wants to be free. Once the child tries to walk, he falls down, bumps his head, cries, whines, He sits up, but he gets frustrated and angry, but he keeps trying. And the child will begin to walk, not what mother teaches him how to walk, but when he gets tired of falling. But he won't stop. He won't, at the first failure, he keep on trying. And when the child begins to walk, he won't think how good it was crawling. He'll think how good it's going to be when I run. Now, the child will go out and he'll run, he'll fall down, he'll skin his knee, he'll cry, he'll whine, but everyone is running. He's going to run. You cannot keep that child from running. He will learn eventually when he gets tired of skinning his knees, he gets tired of falling down, that's when he'll start to run. You can't protect him from running. You can't make him safe from skinning his knees. He'll learn and he'll get tired of skinning that knee and he will begin to run. But when he learns to run, he won't think about how good it was just walking. Think about how great it's going to be to get my Hot Wheels next year, my tricycle. And when he gets a tricycle, he is not content with thinking about how good it was when I was just running. He thinks about the bicycle. And you cannot tell me your 13-year-old son is not thinking about your car. You can't tell me that. Something happens to us when we become adults. We lose the drive for the next step. Somehow we convince ourselves, don't forget you were crawling. Somehow we think that we don't deserve the next step. It's not for us, it's for them, for someone else. It's not for me. Somehow we've lost this concept that I can do whatever I want to do, and I want to do everything. Everything. What's happened to us? This can-do spirit that forced a new nation, this can-do spirit whose sons and daughters fought for liberty. What has happened to us? We're like a bunch of scared mice now, worrying about our government cheese. What has happened to us? Folks, what's happened to us is a dark veil of slavery has been poured out upon us, and we're so busy being divided by master by our differences, multiculturalism, the same as divide and conquer, the same as separate but equal, the same monster, different name. We're worried about our differences. Black against white, rich against poor, north against southerners, east coast and west coast. What's this mess? We're so busy we can't even focus on the real enemy. Got us separated and fighting each other over the crumbs while we pick his cotton for him and make him rich and powerful. Send our children to him to be educated, to train and raise his children. Allow him to give us midnight basketball instead of midnight library. Folks, what's wrong with us? I'm saying it's time that we stood up and took back the concept of individual personal freedom, which means individual personal responsibility. It's ours. It is time that we serve notice that we will not stop until everyone is free. We will serve notice. You will no longer have our children. You will no longer have our businesses, no longer have our income. They belong to us. We control them. We will take them. We will keep them. We're going to be free. The Underground Railroad is moving. It is leaving the station. You can either stay right or be left, because this train is leaving. God bless you. Freedom! Freedom! God bless you. Thank you.